Good afternoon, YouTube. Today we are doing the first oil service, the first oil change on a 2020 RZR XP4 Turbo S. It's the 1000 cc. Well, it's 950 cc's, but it's the Turbo S. It's the Velocity edition. It's got the bigger swing arms and the 32-inch tires. Okay. First few things. Well, number one, I'm not using Polaris fluids. I'm using AMSOIL SAE 5-weight 50. I use AMSOIL in all my vehicles. It's the best oil. It's better than OEM, in my opinion. It makes everything run cooler, smoother. It makes the clutches and the gears run better in motorcycles. We're using a Wix 51356 filter, Wix 51356 instead of a Polaris filter. A few quick things. I want to bring you back here. Okay, number one, you're going to need a 6mm Allen key to take off the drain bolt on the bottom. You need a 65mm filter cap. And I'm going to show you why. There's no way to get to the filter unless you're going to do it. I don't think you can get it off by hand where it's sitting. I live in the desert. It's been a very hot and dry summer this past summer. It didn't rain at all. So my whole head cover, my valve cover, was covered in dust and everything. So I used some brake clean before I did anything. Use some brake clean and I blasted it off. I cleaned everything down so it's nice and clean. You're not going to get any. This is your fill right here, is your fill plug or your fill port. All right, just like on a car, is right on the top of the valve cover. So that's where you're filling it, which makes it easy. I'm going to show you where the filter is. If you can see it, it's way back in here on the front of the engine. So that's your oil filter right back there. So that is definitely a bitch. I'm gonna say once you take that off, let the engine drain down real good before you break the seal on this thing, and then let it drain back into the case before you pull it off completely, because there's no way to clean in there unless you just blow some brake cleaner down in there. Okay, so that's where that is. This is the cover that goes over your engine bay. Okay, that's in the back of the vehicle. And I'm going to show you where your drain plug is. All right, we're going underneath. There's a skid plate. Okay, right. You can see that 6mm. It's right in the middle. Right in the middle, behind this. Whoops. Let me get back there. Behind that is your drain plug, right back there. Okay, it's a 6mm Allen key, and it's right in the middle behind that center, fastener that holds your skid plate up. All right, so I'm gonna get started. I heated the oil, or I turned the engine on and let the oil warm up to 120 degrees. It's been about 5 minutes. I'm letting it drain down. I'm going to crack open the drain plug, and then I'm going to open up the fill plug so that the air helps all the oil get out quickly. All right, next step. Okay, I'm draining now. It's actually not that bad. Oh, I forgot to mention, I only did, you're supposed to do 25 hours before the first service. I did 15 hours just because it was a very hot summer. It was in very harsh and dusty conditions riding, and it was just no rain, dust everywhere. So I wanted to get the first service done sooner. I prefer doing that just to get all the shavings out, to get all the contamination out of the engine, and put some fresh oil in there. So at 15 hours on the engine. What else? Draining right now, like I said, I took the plug out, the fill plug, and letting it breathe so that it drains faster. And next step. Okay, so we have the oil almost completely drained out. So I'm going to start on the, I can get my arm back in here. I'm going to start on the filter. I already broke it loose. Don't think it's this easy. But like I said, you can see that you have to come in here with a wrench because it does not. All right, now I can take the wrench off. And I mean, it's a tight, I can't get it off now. Hopefully it'll pop off. Let me see if I'm loose. I might have to tighten it back up now just to get the socket head, ratchet head out. I have to tighten it up. Okay, so that's something that you need to know. You have a pipe there, metal pipe, and this is right up against it. So in order to get this hole on, all right. There we go. Okay, so now it's loose. And we're gonna go off by hand because you can't take it off with the, geez, it's hard to film in here. All right, there we go. So, okay, like I said, I'm gonna have to clean up the motor with, I'm gonna move this forward. No, I guess it'll come through that drain plug. All right, so you can see the oil is a little discolored. It's not bad though. And that's why I like to do the first oil change earlier than recommended. So I did it with 15 hours on the motor, about 380, almost 400 miles. So the next step, I'm going to put the new filter on. I'm going to clean up the area with brake clean, and make sure when you put the new one on, you put fresh oil on this ring, on this gasket, so that it seals good. And we're going to hand tighten. Once you get it tight, you're going to try and spin it 1/2 turn more by hand. Okay, next step. Okay. Where are you? New filter installed. Hand tight. It's a tight fit. This filter, the wicks, seems to be slightly taller. I don't know if you can see that distance between this standpipe and the top of the filter is, I don't think I can get, if I had, no. See, I wouldn't be able to get this on. So it has to be done by hand. So if you have a filter wrench, there's a kind that are like pliers. You might have to use that to get it back off. I just did it hand tight. It should make a good seal. I oiled up the O-ring really good, the gasket. All right, so the next step is to put in the drain plug. We're still draining a little bit. Nope, it stopped draining. It's just dripping right now. So I'm going to put that in, and then we're going to fill it up. 2.75 quarts, 2 3/4 quarts is the fill level. Okay, well, I'm going to show you the color of the fresh oil compared to the old oil. And you can see it's almost clear. It's just got a little bit of a golden tint to it. So you're putting in 2 3/4 quarts. I've put in one already. This is the second quart. Make sure you use a refill funnel, because it is hard to get in there. It's really, I'm using a little step to stand on so that I can access this comfortably. Otherwise, you'd be up on your tippy toes trying to do this. And I don't think you could do it by reaching over the bumper and everything. I'll show you what I'm standing on. I'll let that drain in there. So I'm using one of these. It's about a 2-foot lift, and that gets me up, and then I'm standing up, and then I can reach in comfortably. So I'll let that drain in, and then I'm going to use a graduated cylinder, and I'm going to make my 3/4 quarts, which would be what? 32 would be 24. 24 ounces is what I have to put in here. All right, and that's going to be the last step. I'll come back. Okay, I had to put on my readers because I couldn't read the lines. So I'm doing 16 inches. This is a ratio right. That's what it's called, the brand. It's on the other side. Let me show it to you. These are really good to have. Ratio right. You can get them on Amazon, and you can use it for all your, you know, off main calculations. Like if you're not doing 3 quarts, you're doing 1 3/8 or 1 3/4. You can get it spot on with this, especially with the dirt bikes where you're doing like, you know, 600 milliliters or 720 milliliters or something like that. Each crankcase and engine fill is different. So here you can just do it. You can do it exactly perfect. So I'm doing 16, and then I am doing 8, and that gets me to 24. And you can see the color of the oil more accurately sitting inside this clear cylinder. So this goes to 16 in. Oh, I forgot to mention that the drain plug is torqued to 12 foot-pounds. So I'm gonna do the last fill, and I'm gonna sign off on the video now. I'm just gonna rehash everything real quick. So you need a 6mm Allen key to take out the drain plug. Drain plug has a copper crush washer. I wouldn't replace it. You know, sometimes I say replace it each time. You can go 3 or 4 services before you have to replace it. Okay, 2 3/4 quarts fill. We're using AMSOIL SAE 5-weight 50 motor oil. We're using a Wix filter. The filter is over here, like I showed you, hand tight, and the drain plug is put back in at 12 foot-pounds of torque, and that is the full service. And I did it at 15 hours, about 380, 400 miles on the odometer. Like I said, I live in the desert. It's been very dry and very hot this past summer, and a lot of dust. The engine's been in the desert a lot, so I didn't want to wait to 25 hours, which is the recommended first service. All right, Mike Machines out. Any questions, comments, leave it in the comments section, and please subscribe and follow. Thank you.